TPCSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
2,000 years long, we will never settle. Hard days, no way, with a heavy metal. No time, no fail, won't stop here. Like a torch to a flame when it burns hot. Won't stop. Come on, baby,
From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the closing bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the closing bell.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am the co-host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and it is that time of the day for the closing bell with good friend and colleague, Mr. Southside Riley himself, Riley Magnuson. Here to break down what's going on in the world of sports. First and foremost, prayers go out to Los Angeles and the wildfires. Travis, Zach, Jeff Harlan, some good friends, colleagues, family out there. God, it is ugly out there. So be safe, be smart. Yeah, prayers, and more prayers. Shout out to our proud sponsorships and partnerships and sponsors. WagerWire. Head on over to Google Play, download that app. It is free. Viva Tequila Seltzer, CT Bets Austin, the team, family, second to none. Go try at Viva Tequila Seltzer wherever you enjoy adult beverages. And last but not least, been texting them back and forth. Terry Smith, jump on over to Facebook right now. Go follow Terry Smith for me, will you? We're trying to get him on. He's got a surgery, thumb surgery tomorrow, and we're going to get him on before the bell, during the bell, after the bell, after Paul Stone, after the NCAA Insiders, Adam Trigger, and we're having a hard time. If not, he'll follow Bill Krakenberg on Monday morning there. While you're there, go to AtlantaSteaksAndSeafood.com. Place an order: steaks, chops, lamb, seafood, appetizers, second to none. 4 subscription packs. Try one of those. Just check the box. Terry will get the order on the website. He will send it to you, usually around two-day ground. And that's all you got to do. Every month, you'll be eating not just right, but you'll be eating amazing product. What have I had this week? I've had filet mignon. I've had New York strip. Oh, yeah, I've had lamb as well. So Terry takes good care of us, and we try to take good care of him. Promise you. Not only is the quality 10 times better than Omaha, the customer service is even better too. So without further ado, let's bring him in. Mr. Riley Magnuson. What's up, champ?
What is up, my friend? Happy Wednesday, midweek here. We've got a good evening of sports on our hands tonight, at least on the hardwood, my friend. I'm excited to talk about all that. Maybe look ahead a little bit to what we've got going on tomorrow evening on the gridiron. But I want to get your thoughts. I didn't look too much on the public opinion, but we had the opening night of the old TGL last night. and it was a blowout. I will say that, but I enjoyed watching it. For the first run of it, maybe they can make some small tweaks and whatnot, and obviously, maybe they throw some other type of stakes in there when there is a blowout like that to keep people invested. But at the end of the day, for an indoor golf where it's half simulator, I had some fun watching that last night.
I'll be 1,000% honest with you. I had a couple of my colleagues reach out to me yesterday. Hey, who do you like? Who do you like? And I said, we're talking about the TGL. I'm like, what the are you talking about? I've been so busy, and I made a point. I wrapped up the evening, got the morning numbers ready, and I turned it on. Now, thanks to YouTube, I had 4 box going, 3 basketball games, and I had the golf there, and I had the volume on the golf. I am the biggest Rory McIlroy fan, and my dad's prodigal son was Tiger Woods, so I was excited. And Russell Sale, I'm having football withdrawals. Send help. Almost there, Russell. Once we get to Thursday, you're all set there. They did an amazing job. We talked about it this morning with Brady Kannon on Tea Time Wagers. They did an amazing job with it. To think where technology has come. When I go to Vegas, if I need to do a lot of work on the Strip, I stay at a Marriott right across the street from Topgolf. Remember, that was the biggest thing going since sliced bread. And a lot of people, there's one right about 45 minutes from Manhattan. So it was Topgolf. Now it's simulations. Riley, with the wind chill factor right now here on Cape Cod is below 0. I can't go hit a bucket of balls. So now the next thing is the simulator. And what they did is absolutely amazing. Hats off. Hats off. Now, when I changed it, I'm a purist. You know that. When we talk about baseball and all the rule changes, when I leave to go to Fenway Park, if it's a 5-hour affair, my ass is there for 5 hours. I went. It's an event. I sat there on a Father's Day gift through 17 innings against the Astros. The wife, the kids are like, Jeff, what are we going on? When it's over. When it's over. And that was well before the Ghost Runner. So my point here, Riley, is being a purist, yes, it was amazing. As Brady said, what more could you ask on a Tuesday night in January? And that's where the world has evolved. Simulation. You saw the emotions, the fun, the fans, not that they're trying to copy live, but they're trying to get some of the real out there, not the stiff, hit the good drive and stuff. So I applauded them, Riley. I do.
100%. And we get to see at some point, I can't remember when I forgot the schedule, and it was awesome to hear him talk last night, but we get Tiger in this thing at some point. There was a clip of him talking to Rory, and I actually don't know who the guy was, if he was what aspect of TGL he was in, but he's like, oh, you see that camera up there? I don't remember how it goes, but that camera up there, you think I can hit it? One try, Tiger Woods hits the camera, and we're gonna get to see him without having to labor through 18 holes, 72 holes, 36 holes, whatever you want to call it, not having to labor too much. So that's gonna be awesome, and that's the one thing we've seen a little bit, just from a fan perspective of starting to hear him talk more in the last couple of years. The little we've seen from him, I got a great rapport with these guys that are late 20s, early 30s, mid 20s, and can give them the business as far as talking smack. So I am so excited to see him out there. You're a huge Rory fan. I enjoy watching Rory. That's going to be fun and exciting. And I popped it up. I recorded it in case I was, I couldn't watch it. I ended up being able to watch it, and I forgot who was on. And then they say the starting lineups, and I'm like, count me in. You got Xander, Ricky, Matt Fitzpatrick. Love all 3 of these guys. Wyndham Clark, who I think on the broadcast I mentioned is one guy who you haven't heard much of on the golf course necessarily. He's obviously been good. That we're going to get to see more of him. And then Ludwig, my guy from my Swedish brother, doing his thing, looking like he's going to take on the world by storm this year. So I love it. I'm excited and can't wait for more.
No, it just all aspects. And actually, it was funny. Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart, a few others on Sports Grid, were gambling on it. You actually could gamble on it. And again, the East Coast, I think the New York team, they call themselves, got spanked. Just a little taste of what Mr. Oberg, whatever you want to call Ludwig, is going to potentially do this year. So no, I was quite happy. And then we brought we brought Brady on this morning. Might as well go there. I can throw the numbers up there. The Sony, we're staying in Hawaii.
Right.
Not as big field here, but I'm trying to find the odds. I know I got them there right here. Hideki 9-1, Corey Connors 14-1, Tom Kim 2,000, Henley 2,000, Maverick McNeely, that was his first release at plus 2,500. Keegan Bradley at 2,500, lost in overtime an extra holes there last year, and his putter got real hot late last weekend. And the list is there. Tee off tomorrow. Is there any name or anything that sticks out to you at the Sony Open?
Yeah, the one that I'm interested in seeing, and again, these first ones in Hawaii are a little interesting. I obviously haven't seen too much of these guys lately, other than maybe last week or some random events. But the guy who has been really good in certain spots the last couple of years, Rob McIntyre, 30-1, is kind of lurking in there. So it takes me a second to see who's in form, and don't want to go just off of one tournament last week in Hawaii to jump on things. Tom Kim, I'm a big Tom Kim guy. I think I would respect his odds a little bit more if he was maybe the second favorite or 15-1 or something like that. Not to say that he can't do it, but for someone who I think garnered a lot of respect last year and is one of the more public, likable names out of this one, I guess I would have respected a more confident number out of him, but not to say that he can't have a great one there. And then there's just a handful of guys in here that are kind of those under-the-radar guys, but over the last couple of years, we've kind of seen them start to slowly break out, or at least break out in these types of tournaments where the big dogs, Scotties, the Rorys of the world aren't in this one, like Matt McNeely, Russell Henley, Ben An. And then you got Siwoo Kim in there, another guy that would have respected a little bit more of a confident number out of him, but I'll go Tom Kim and Mav McNeely as a couple guys I'm looking at this week.
No, I love where your eyes are there. I start my one and done with Brian Gaskell. He is called the Gas Man. We're going to talk later tonight. The Patrick Mayo Cup, first prize $100,000, and I think he pays the top 400, 450. I think there's like 4,700 contestants. You get the purse for your golf, a one and done. You use them, that's it.
Yep.
These last week, it starts this week, so the purse is a little short. Obviously, you want to save your studs for the signature events. In other words, if we get a guy that makes the cut and finishes fifth and walks with $68,000, it's like missing the cut. So
yeah.
And then of course the majors where those prize pools are inflated as well, so it's going to be fun. I think Maverick McNeely will be one of our two selections. I got to just listen to him. We got to do our data and stuff. I can't get off of Keegan Bradley. It's funny how you brought up McIntyre. I was looking at him as well there. I kind of want to lean towards some of the guys that were there last week and who got hot, who wasn't hot. But I can guarantee you this: 3,500 won't win this tournament. It'll be a lot shorter than that. Change of pace, college bowl games. And Mr. Saylor, I know you're here. And I know you were here Monday night. And everyone that was watching and listening, what did I say? North Dakota State plus the 4.5. It was steamed. I called it a false steam. I said team total over 27. I tell you what, by the time I got to the game, Riley, it was 14-0. I'm like, whoa, what did I miss here? That second half, applaud both teams.
Oh, yeah.
An amazing second half we watched.
Yeah, and even I think I'll double check right now. I told you I was going to throw some pizza and beer money on North Dakota State. I think it was on 5.5 before kickoff, even up to that, at least on some books, unless I'm talking out of my you-know-what. But I think I actually got it at 5.5, and I jumped all over it right before kickoff. No, I mean, it's too pro, and kudos to Montana State. Yeah, I mean, at some point, I don't know what the trajectory of who they got coming back, I have no idea, but that's a couple, either two straight or two of the last three runners up for them in the midst of the North Dakota States, the South Dakota States. So I assume they're going to be back. That second half, like I said, was awesome. And those FCS championship games are usually really, really good. They're teams that would I mean, that's that level of competition. Those teams could be very competitive at the Group of 5 level. I'm not saying they'd be the Boise State representing in the CFP. I'm not saying that, but in the Mountain West or the MAC, they could be an 8-4, 9-3 team easily. Some of these teams, especially North Dakota State, some of these teams they've had.
Tomorrow night, since we won't be here, we'll be back, you and I, on Friday. So Notre Dame, Penn State, the first game of the two. Notre Dame 1.5 with a 44 and a hook. We had Tyler Wyatt on today after Brady Kannon. This number actually opened up around 49.5, even some 50s. They're just pounding the under. I've said it all along. I know what I've seen from Notre Dame. I just think that number's short. So my mind, the way it works, well, if it's short, just play Notre Dame money line and shut the bleep up. And I just think Penn State, I would respect Notre Dame at 3 or 3.5. I'm having a hard time respecting them at 1.5.
You and I are on the exact same page, my friend. And mind you, this Penn State team, they've lost twice. I mean, I know Oregon got the doors beat off of them by Ohio State, but Oregon was the clear number one team all season long. Hung with them or came back and almost knocked them off in the Big Ten championship. Their other win, who obviously for a second we poo-pooed Ohio State. Now Ohio State's the next thing since sliced bread. Hung in with them in a really tight, tough game a couple of months ago, or I think a couple months ago at this point. So this is a really, really good Penn State team. And again, not to say that Notre Dame can't go in and win this game. I think these are both really, really good teams. Notre Dame impressed me the way they took down Georgia. But I'm with you, especially the way the public persona that Notre Dame picked up by knocking off Georgia. They haven't lost since that debacle against the my neck of the woods, Northern Illinois Huskies, which obviously was not a great loss. But since then, they've obviously been nails. So I'm with you as far as this one does seem short. The public seems to be flooding over to Notre Dame, not getting the respect of Penn State. Penn State, of course, has that adage of can't really win the big ones. I don't think people are giving them much credit for the, SMU Boise State wins, which the Boise State win was still a solid win. And again, so far they've only proven that their problem is Ohio State and Michigan. They haven't shown that they can't get past anyone else in this type of stage. It's just been those two historically for Franklin. So I'm with you. I'm leaning towards Penn State. I think this one is going to be a great game, mind you. But I am leaning towards Penn State having a great shot of advancing and winning this game here.
And I think the committee would have vomited. Now Tyler brought up a great point. I mean, an Ohio State and Notre Dame for brand power, they couldn't have scripted a better final. And Ohio State hanging around 5.5. But where the eyes go is Ohio State and Notre Dame. I mean, that's, the eye test, but I'm a numbers guy, okay? I was born at night, not last night, guys, all right? So can you imagine an Ohio State, Penn State, the Big Ten would have their chest out like this, and SEC, who? SEC. Hey. Can you imagine that, Riley?
Hey, you know who you're talking to over here. I'm getting myself giddy just thinking of that possibility, my friend. I mean, even Texas Notre Dame for brand power would be fantastic. Obviously, Ohio State, especially in a good chunk of the country, has got that. Especially in the you get the Ohio State Notre Dame kind of clashing in the Midwest a little bit there. But no, I'm with you. It would be I wouldn't say it would be a black mark for the SEC, but. For an SEC that's obviously dominated the public persona of who's the best and is going to win. In a situation where you got a Big Ten versus SEC team and the Big Ten team's favored by 5.5, it's speaking volumes for sure. And of course, the games could roll out, and we might have a Texas Notre Dame final in a few days. It's obviously not out of the question by any means, but would be huge for the Big Ten, especially to get two of them. And I think it would be bigger as just for the sake of the growth of the Big Ten. Obviously, for brands, it would be best for Ohio State. But to get Penn State over that hump and to get them that respect and get that under their belt would be so fantastic for that program. So you know who you're talking to. That's what I'm rooting for, and I'm rooting for Penn State to get over that hump. James Franklin even just getting to the semifinal, I think, is maybe not alleviated that forever. Obviously, if he loses this game and then goes back to losing to Ohio State, Michigan, and can't get past the semifinals, then maybe we'll be talking. But getting them to the semifinals for his job, sake of his job, whether or not that was actually that much on the hot seat or not, for not being able to get this far. Is to be told later maybe. But kudos to him. He's obviously earned himself a cooler seat, and if there was any question, he certainly earned himself some more time at Penn State.
Russell Taylor says 10 titles in 14 years, maybe the most dominant run in sports, talking about North Dakota State. And yeah, that's the John Wooden, was it 9 in a row for UCLA? And then the Celtics had a big
I'd have a
run.
banner. If it wasn't for them, I'd have a banner for my alma mater probably behind me on my wall here for the old Redbirds back in 2014, 15. I don't remember.
Well, I'm going to stay in the Big Ten. I was on the Sports Grid last night at 9 o'clock, and the producer reaches out around 2 o'clock, says, Jeff, can you send us some of your plays? So we hit a first period hockey game. We hit the Celtics. We had the Celtics at 5, and then it closed at 9.5 because Jokic was out. And then I gave out a college game. And I gave it out, and then an hour later, the line goes from 3 to 2.5. We gave out the money line. And I knew I was in a tough spot. And when I say the name and the game, you're going to smile ear to ear. We have talked about this coach. We have talked about this program. Talk about the Michigan Wolverines and Mr. Dusty May here.
Yeah.
They had just come off the USC win. They're hanging out west. UCLA coming off a loss. Big first half for Michigan. UCLA did what they used to do in the glory days. 9-0, 10-0 run to start the second half. They clawed their way back to a 3-point lead. Michigan says, hold my beer. Next thing I know, it was 15-point Michigan lead. They couldn't miss, but hats up. Look out for this Michigan team, Riley.
100%. You and I talked on Monday about, I still got a ton of respect for Illinois. They play tonight. We'll talk about them in a second, I assume. But another team in Michigan, we talk about how some of these Midwest teams are going to fare on these West Coast road trips. A couple, 2 West Coast games back-to-back or vice versa. Another team that goes into a couple tough places in USC and even tougher in UCLA right now and get some good wins. Not even, like you said, convincing wins. So another team that, especially based on expectation, impressive. And Dusty May doing it again from FAU now to Michigan. Not only this year, they're not cutting the nets down at the end of March into April. They're not cutting the Final Four national championship nets down. But the Big Ten should be on notice with what Dusty May is already doing in this after the year that they had last year, the last couple of years, and not being able to get out of their own way. The Big Ten's got to be on notice with Dusty May and what they're doing in Michigan for sure.
Yeah, and Tyler Wyatt talked about the SEC could have 9-10 teams in there. You go from the number 1 team, Tennessee, goes into Florida and just gets boat raced. Kentucky, who beat Florida on Saturday, goes to Georgia and gets boat raced. So again, I've always said this in conference play. You got to win your home games and pick your spots on the road, and that's a perfect segue for me. And UConn and Villanova, guys, we talked last week. I use Ken Palm a lot in the stat column. They call it so I'm not mispronouncing it here. Hold on, bear with me. 4 factors, and these 4 factors are put together, and these got them ranked 1 to 330 or whatever, 337, how many teams there are. And usually to make it to the Final Four, you got to be in the top 10 of the 4 factor. And there was a head scratcher the other day, and that was Villanova. I'm like, whoa. Villanova's just been hot and cold, and they're like a one-horse pony sometimes. And in comes UConn, who over the weekend, they're one of their stars, McNeely, has a high ankle sprain and is out for the month of January. And Providence had about a 6-7 point lead at Stores. UConn had an amazing second half. They put up like 55 and they won by 8 or 9, whatever the number was. Well, overnight, UConn was 2.5 point favorites at Villanova at 6:30 tonight. Now Villanova at the Circa is 1.5 point favorites. I got mixed emotions here. I really do. My heart obviously is with UConn here. There's a difference from playing at Stores, and you hear me. I didn't say the XL Center. I hate that place. They should blow it up. But they shouldn't play there. Let's just leave it there. But my point is, now we're on the road.
Yeah.
No McNeely. They need a solid. I actually think the Villanova -1. If I played Villanova tonight, I'd play the money line. But UConn Husky backers, hey, I'm rooting for them. I really, really am. I think we're in a tough spot tonight, buddy.
For sure, and it's I mean, this crowd's going to be frenzied. They are not only starving for Villanova to get back to being a Big East contender, but obviously wanting to take down UConn. I was looking at some betting splits. It's almost looking like a little pros versus Joes type of situation here, where you got the public obviously all over a UConn team, the two-time defending champ, but it's still a team with the number 9 next to their name, or the AP, against an unranked Villanova team that they've seen the last 2 years kind of be a stinker. So the public's obviously all over UConn, but then you got the other side of it where it's getting evened out by the big bettors that are putting on Villanova from what I was seeing there. So when you have those situations, it could still kind of go back to being either way from what I've seen. Obviously, you know better than I do, but no, I'm torn on it because obviously, and you said it, this UConn team isn't quite as good as they were the last 2 years, and they, maybe in a couple months we'll have a different feeling for them. I don't know, but I like Villanova's chances, like you said. I mean, you led into it perfectly with picking your spots. UConn's, I assume they're going to give a big effort, but Villanova's going to obviously be they're coming for the neck in this one here. So I don't know which way I'm leaning, but I would not want to be playing Villanova tonight. I guess I'll say that.
It's a short NHL schedule. I'm going to pull up the team totals for everyone watching and listening and want to take your spots here. You can get Washington team total over 3.5 at plus 110. They host the Vancouver Canucks. You got to lay some juice with Colorado. If you want their team total over 3.5 tonight, it's going to cost you 40 cents there against Riley's Blackhawks there. I actually like Chicago's team total over 2.5 tonight. I think they'll get to 3 or better. That's minus 15 cents. This Jekyll and Hyde team, Florida's at Utah. If you like Florida tonight, you can get their team total over 3.5. You can get that at a nice price at a plus 130. If you wanted to get cute and coy, you could take the Utah team total under 2.5 at plus 110. Calgary at the Kings has been postponed, obviously, because of the wildfires there. I'm going to flip the board over to you, NBA, college hoops, whatever your eyes see, sir.
I'll get to NBA. I wanted to throw one college basketball game at you, ACC, and I have not watched either of these teams too much, but you've got a 4-10 Miami team at home against Florida State. 4-10 Miami, 10-4 Florida State, and we've got Miami as a favorite in this game. Is that, am I reading into that a little too much, or is that a little stinky? Are nobody going to be watching it, betting on it anyway, so it doesn't matter? Any thoughts on that one?
No, your eyes are spot on. Ken Palm actually has Florida State 80-78. Now, we know the coach from Miami has retired abruptly. Let me see if I can see some splits here for you. Where are we here? I start working here. There we are. It's showing 56% of the bets, 80% of the money coming in on Miami. Opened as a pick 1.5. This Florida State team's been a Jekyll and Hyde. I'll just say this. If you Venmo'd me 100, I'd Venmo you back 200, first of all, to go take the bride out, go enjoy a nice dinner on ECSI. If I had to play the game, I would take I would take Miami I'd play the money line minus 123 or whatever. When it smells and you got great eyes, you must have a good teacher somewhere along the line here. But the stench meter was up and you saw it.
But like you said, this is one that a few years ago I would have been like, oh, this is the one. I'm all in on Miami tonight. But they could throw some stinkers out there and still stinky numbers out there, and then Miami could show up and still be that 4-10 team that's shown up to the world so far this year. So I think it is good advice to stay away from that one in general, and certainly don't be flooding on Florida State because you can't figure out why they're a dog against a 4-10 team. So I believe switching over to the NBA, I believe. I'm just looking at. I know there was the Clippers on the road, so okay. I don't think there's any effect as far as the NBA is concerned. My Bulls, I was wrong on Monday. The Bulls, a late push. I think they were down 15.5, down maybe even something like that into the third quarter, and then come all the way back. Kobe White with the monster poster against Victor Wembanyama. But bad side to be on there. I think if you were with me on the Bull or fading the Bulls on Monday, I think you go back to that tonight. Pacers 5.5 point favorites. 19-18 Pacers, 17-19 Bulls. Pacers, another team. I know I said it with the Spurs. Still believe that the Spurs are going to start rattling off some wins. Pacers, not as confident, but I think this Pacers team has been banged up. But I think there's another Pacers team another team that could be in that company for me of teams that I think could start rattling off some wins here. So I think I'm back on the against the Bulls trade here tonight with the Pacers. Thunder Cavs. I'm curious your thoughts on that one. I don't have strong thoughts on it, but it's at least worth mentioning. 30-5 Thunder, 31-4 Cavs. Best teams in basketball. Cavs 2.5 point favorites, 230.5 on the total. I think it's no Caruso for the Thunder. Maybe some depth banged up, but don't have too much on that one. I mean, they're gonna ESPN. I think I saw was trying to build this one up, and it's the best two teams in basketball, and they're trying to get some ratings, but it's a non-conference game in the NBA in January, so I don't know how much stakes we really need to put on it, but obviously it is still a fun game. Any thoughts out of that one from you?
Well, I'll go back to Chicago, Indiana. A total of 243.5 at the circuit. Guys, go grab your popcorn, go grab your pom-poms, go take the pizza and beer money, we like to say it, on the over 243.5. It is at 244, and there are actually at 244.5 at Caesars. They're going to roll the ball out there. Probably final score is going to be like 130 to 128 or something. So take a look at over 243, 243.5, whatever you get there. OKC Cleveland. I mean, all the respect to me, and that number's on OKC. Here's a Cavalier team which has 4 losses all year. We've been talking about the OKC team. Great win on Sunday. Now we're traveling. A 2.5. It's not a 4.5. So I'll say the respected money is on OKC. The problem will be is when the NBA gives the call at halftime and says, okay, here's where all the money is. So here's the other team. Hey, we need you to pick up that, as you said, down 15. Next thing you know, you went to go get a pizza, popcorn, and a beer, and you came back and you were down 15. Now you're up 10. What did I miss?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that one. I had 2 other ones, maybe not so much this other one that I'm interested in, but it's definitely one worth watching. Clippers and Nuggets. Clippers are favored on the road here, minus 1.5 point favorites. Have to imagine you've got Nikola Jokic day to day. He is questionable for tonight. I would be surprised to learn that he is playing, and the Nuggets are a home dogs to this Clippers team. So obviously want to watch out for that. But, Jeff, does that mean we're flooding to the Clippers because there's no Jokic? No, it does not. No, it does not. And they have not been playing great these last week or so. Lost 3 of their last 4. Nuggets have won 3 of their last 4. I might be siding with the Nuggets without Jokic anyways. Again, not jumping on it by any means, but definitely one that you at least want to watch out for and figure out why that might be the case. And just because Jokic may be out does not mean you go to the other side. We talked about the Pistons the other day. I believe we were correct that they won but didn't cover, if I remember correctly, the other day, you and I, on that Pistons game. I'll say the same thing again today. I think it's a little inflated. This Nets team is bad, but I do think the Pistons are going to come down to earth a little bit the more and more they get away from. I mean, Jaden Ivey, obviously not the biggest piece on their team, but still an important piece. They're a little banged up. This Nets team is bad, so I don't want to jump too much into the deep end and say the Nuggets or Nets are covering this game. Their offense has been putrid these last couple of days, but it's more about the Pistons, and I think they come back down to earth. So I'm leaning towards the Nets in that one. But again, tough pill to swallow picking a Nets team any day these days right now. So and then the Spurs again. The last one I'll say, it is another ESPN game. Wemby versus Giannis, assuming Giannis is, I think he was probable the last thing I saw. Probable. Dame Lillard also questionable, so obviously still got to look out for that. I guess I'll say if you were with me on with the Spurs on Monday, just like you might have been against the Bulls, I might be going back to the Spurs tonight in Milwaukee. But don't love it. Would love maybe a 3.5, 3 necessarily. But again, I'll lean towards the Spurs, but don't love it.
Yeah, opened at 4.5 at the Circle with a 225.5. It is 3.5 at Caesars. So if you're in Vegas and you do like Giannis and the Bucks, head on over to Caesars. That's at 3.5. everywhere else on the street. Actually, if you want San Antonio and in Vegas, head on over to see Jeffrey Benson at the Circa. They're posting a 4.5, and at the same at the South Point, they're posting a 4.5. If you head over there, grab yourself a couple hot dogs at the hot dog cart there. Say hi to Jimmy Vaccaro for me, and of course, Mr. Chris Andrews, two of the best in the business there. I did have one eyes opened up for the stench meter here, and where was it? Portland.
Oh yes.
Portland at New Orleans, and New Orleans is favored 1.5. Now I don't usually release NBA games till the All-Star break and the final 20 games, and then of course the playoffs. We'll dabble in some futures and stuff. Riley, I know how bad Portland is. I know about New Orleans, but what am I missing here? I mean, is Clyde Drexler playing for Portland? Is Sam Bowie playing for? I'm missing something here. Please tell me what I'm missing.
I don't know what you're missing. Because you've got a bunch of guys that have been out that could have been back in this game, but they are not back in this game. So I don't know what you're missing. Portland, I mean, there's no couple guys are out, so that has something to maybe a little bit of a factor, but nothing too serious here. I mean, you've still got Jeremy Grant out. I don't know. I don't know what you're missing. I assume hopefully no one is trying to watch this game, let alone dive too deep into this game. This is about as bad as it gets for the NBA in a season where not many people are watching the NBA yet. But I don't know. I do not know the answer to what you're missing out of this one.
And let me see. The weekend, Kawhi finally made his return, I think, on Saturday. I mean, he got paid for a whole off season, got paid for a whole half a year, and decides to show up Saturday. And then I saw the Hamburglar with the steal and a 360 dunk. I'm talking about Zion Williamson. I mean, these guys, once it goes, they turn the calendar and it's a new year. I guess they can play then all of a sudden, right?
Something like that. Kawhi did. He's played a couple of games, but he's not playing tonight. Surprise. And yet they're still favored. Again, back to that conversation there. But yeah. Again, that's why I was waiting to see if that's why you got the Pelicans favored. But injury maintenance as the reason why he is not playing tonight, my friend. He could play the other day, but or yesterday, I should say. I mean, back to back. Hey, back to back. Don't want to rush him into start you off in the back on the return for a back-to-back, I guess. But a 70-30 Pelicans team, I don't know what we're going to see out of Zion the rest of the way here.
Again, he'd get real healthy, almost like Devontae Adams healthy, if you shipped him over to New York, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's moved by the break here. There is some money coming in on UConn as we speak. It's now a pick'em and Caesars. Bet Online has now just dropped it to 1. Circa sticking with 1.5. The same with South Point there. I'm going to see if I'm going to go through a couple games here. I'll ask you your take here. USC at Indiana. The Hoosiers again, Jekyll and Hyde. Expectations are okay. USC opened at 7, now 6.5 with a 149. I kind of lean the Hoosiers here. I expect them to win, but I don't trust them with a 6.5.
No, we're on the same page here. They are starting to roll a little bit. They had a nice before and after Christmas, a couple of pumpkins that they could, I want to say beat up on, but they didn't, run them out of the gym necessarily. And then now these last couple to get the calendar year started in the Big Ten has been solid. So I'm with you. I think they win, but maybe now 4 in a row or something, starting to drink their own Kool-Aid a little bit too much here. So I'm with you. I think they win, but I'm kind of a toss-up on the cover there. USC obviously just lose to Michigan, so maybe looking for a bounce back there. But no, I don't know what to expect out of that one. But I'm still – this Indiana team is one of my bigger question marks still, where I've been talking about it all season long so far. What do we actually see from them? Thought they were a little overrated to start the season. Now they may be up until these last couple of games may have been a little underrated. So not sure what to see. And then you got Penn State, Illinois on the other later game in the Big Ten. Illinois 9.5-point favorites against a 12-3 Penn State team. So a lot of respect. I'll lean towards maybe being a little inflated the way Illinois is playing, but I like the respect for Illinois for sure, and Penn State's obviously got a lot to prove, and they've beat up on a little weaker schedule. So I'll lean towards Illinois win with no cover. How about that?
Well, I get some funny things for you. I tell everyone that watches and listens, if you don't believe, you got to stop believing it sooner or later. They listen to the show, Riley. They listen to what we're having to say. Miami of Florida now 2.5 across the board. Oh my God, 2.5 across the board. It is a 1.5 at Bookmaker and 2 at DraftKings, 2 at Caesars, but the Vegas Strip now up to 2.5 there. Comical as we speak. Good game in the SEC. Ole Miss at Arkansas opened at 3, now 3.5. Coach Cal, first year, not his players. He literally had no guys. He had to go get 12 guys to suit up there. I want to go over to our buddies here, Ken Pond, see what he's got there. Arkansas 75-73 winner here. Arkansas 11-3 coming off the Tennessee loss by 24. Ole Miss 12-2. 2 losses, one to your Purdue team, 80-78 on a neutral court, and they lost to Memphis by 17. They just beat Georgia by 12. Any thoughts there? Coach Cal, I'm not saying Cal is struggling. It's not a Cal team that's going to cut the nets down. I think, and I hope he makes it to the second weekend, don't get me wrong. They got 3 losses this year. They lost to Baylor by 5, and then they beat Troy by 16. They lost to your Illinois team by 13, and then they go out and beat Miami of Florida of 3, and that's the hot name today. Then they go and lose to Tennessee. Now, here's the caveat. Anyone going to run to the window for Arkansas tonight and expecting a bounce back against Ole Miss, they have Florida coming to town on Saturday. And Ken Palm's got them losing by 5. So my point here, guys, is if you're expecting the bounce back, take it from I know it was Division III, and I know it was women's basketball, and I've coached baseball all the way through Leeds, and I kind of sort of know how to coach too. But my point is to keep the team from not peaking. Hey, guys, we got a good Ole Miss here team. While everyone's already talking about tickets on Saturday for Florida coming in, you saw what they did to number 1. So just be careful on Arkansas tonight.
That's interesting. And I think that's a good spot where if they get the doors beat off them again, then that's a real good opportunity on Saturday, potentially. Obviously, got to see what the numbers are. But I like that. I like that thought because I like that thought process because, you're looking at the bounce back, getting the doors beat off by Tennessee. We're seeing some of these bounce backs in the SEC. But, man, I mean, the SEC, nobody – overall record, nobody has more than 4 losses. Potentially could change tonight. So I don't know what to expect out of that one, just for what you kind of laid out there. And Texas A&M, Oklahoma should be a good one as well. I'll side with the home team out of that one, but another one where would not surprise me either which way if Texas A&M goes in and gets that win.
You brushed upon it. Penn State at Illinois, a 9 with a 165 was the opening number. Circus got it down to 162.5. 163 and a half across the Vegas Strip here. I want to see where Ken Palm's got this one. 86.77. So he's got it at 163. That's a lot of points, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was kind of surprised by that. I mean, Illinois is putting up some big numbers offensively right now. So the pace is up there, and Penn State's been, kind of filling it up themselves as well. So, no, it's going to be an interesting one. I just either you're going to get Illinois by 30 or it's going to be a nail biter and, you got to get a last-second bucket to get the win there.
Anything else here? Let me see if I see anything else. Not much there. Closing thoughts, sir.
Closing thoughts, nothing too much. Yeah, I was looking at it myself, trying to look through these conferences, just kind of conference by conference to kind of whittle it down when you got a big slate like this. Big 12's got some good teams, a couple teams that could absolutely, 2-3 teams that have a potential to cut down the nets, but a conference that's got some uglier teams as opposed to the SEC, who top to bottom is looking like an absolute gauntlet night in and night out there. So, it's interesting. I've always had better success, maybe not singling out a conference, but I've had conferences on year-to-year basis that I've been a lot better in as opposed to maybe one like and Big 12 has been one that outside of the Big 10, one of my better conferences as just as far as that is concerned. But when you got a year where half the conference is probably going to be looking ahead to next year in about a month or so, it can be a little tough. So the SEC though, that's one where you could definitely find some value, especially in some of these, like you said, the look ahead spots or the bounce backs and trying to couple those. But obviously, there's going to be some teams where you get a Tennessee or an Auburn team rolling the hottest team in the world, and then an unranked. Yeah, I mean, obviously it wasn't unranked the other day, but an unranked South Carolina or something like that can come in and smack you in the mouth. So never as easy as it seems in college basketball, I guess is what I will say there. Don't go throwing together 5 ranked favorites tonight, just or maybe in UConn's case, underdogs. If they're underdogs and they're ranked against an unranked team, I'm not saying you have to go the other way, but obviously that's a red flag potentially in some spots there. So you shouldn't go throwing together all those teams that have been rolling along, all of them 5 wins in a row. One of them is due to fall back to earth at some point here, especially in the middle of the weeks, especially when you got teams that are looking ahead to Saturday with some big matchups each week potentially here. So that, I guess, will be my closing thoughts as far as college basketball is concerned, my friend.
As Russell Saylor started the show, he is getting hungry for football. Football back tomorrow. The first game of the Final Four. We talked about Notre Dame and Penn State. Friday, then will be Texas versus the Ohio State. Saturday and Sunday NFL playoffs. ECSI VIPs. I'm going to get out. I'm going to go to tomorrow. I'm working on some Super Bowl MVPs. I have in my head who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I have in my head who's going to win the Super Bowl. And I have in my head who is going to win the Super Bowl MVP. So if you want to be a part of that, and there's some great prices there, send me a DM to EC Sports Investors. Send me an email to eastcoastsportsinvestors@gmail.com. Or very simply, go to our website at eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. Top right corner, plans and prices. Scroll all the way down. You can sign up for as little as $3 a day. $3 a day. And get every one of our plays sent to your cell phone via text and emailed to your email there. Or the deal, since this is our 10-year anniversary, what I've been giving away, I will give away again. $375 a month retail. That was January 1st, 2015. It's still the same price, and I should raise it, but I won't. Sign up for 1 month, and I'm going to take you right through the Stanley Cup. That's right. So you pay 1 month retail, and you're getting 5 months worth of action. So any questions, comments, concern, complaints, follow me at EC Sports Invest and send me a DM. Otherwise, sign up. I'm putting the alert together as we speak, and it will be out in about 15 minutes there. Tomorrow is Thursday. Busy day. 11 a.m. Paul Stone back, one of his last shows of the season to break down the Final Four in college football. And then we're going to go 3 o'clock. The return of Lou Finicaro will be breaking down. UFC is back, of course, this weekend. And then 5 o'clock, Ron Marmolewski live from L.A. And actually, I got to reach out to him, make sure everything is okay there. He'll be back to talk some NFL and NCAA. For myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investors, the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Reach out. I'll answer any questions, same as Riley. We'll see you soon.